Hey friends, let's talk some Iowa State basketball here on your Friday night. Iowa State and Missouri will go at it tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Old school Big 8 rivalry, of course, our little tip off here with myself is presented by our friends at the Iowa Event Center. They do so many great things, not only for our city here in Des Moines, for those of you in central Iowa, but the entire state of Iowa. Just what a game changer getting Wells Fargo Arena downtown has been. Thank you to Iowa Event Center for sponsoring us here on Cyclone Fanatic. Missouri's interesting. You know, a month ago, this game looked pretty daunting. They had just beaten Kentucky. This was, right at the end of December. They were a one-loss team at that point, and since then, Missouri has kind of cratered a little bit. They've got a handful of losses. They don't really have bad losses, right? So their losses since then at Arkansas, at Texas A&M, at Florida, and at home against Alabama. So when they do lose, they're losing to good teams. Iowa State's a good team. Interesting thing about this game is you have an elite offense versus an elite defense. Adjusted offensive efficiency, Missouri comes in at number 6 in the country. You flip that over to defense, Iowa State is number 8 in the country. The difference between the two is Iowa State is much more balanced, coming in at 57 on offense, where you look over at Missouri, they're 194 on defense. Wowzers. That's really bad. I think Iowa State is the better team here. I think that they have the better resume. They're the more proven basketball team. And I think that Missouri's, they had a pretty good non-conference. They didn't really beat a ton of great teams, but they were, they have wins over Illinois and Kentucky, and those absolutely meant something early on. But again, I look at their resume. Here's their lot. I mean, they lost to Kansas. Kansas is a really good basketball team, obviously. We know that. So this is a really good Missouri team that I think this is a tournament team, probably, the Missouri Tigers. And, how does Iowa State in that tough – I think officiating will be huge in this one when you look at Missouri and that tempo offense and what they like to do. How is the game called? And then you also have to consider how healthy is Iowa State. That's a major deal there. I think Iowa State would be – if I knew Caleb Grill was 100%, and I knew Jazz Kuntz was on, it would be a different type of conversation. Iowa State seems banged up. Really interesting here, too, is the turnaround. Is Iowa State has a Monday game next week. So those of you who haven't looked ahead, they play Texas Tech in Lubbock on Monday. I'm assuming the team will just jet from Columbia down to Lubbock. That would make all the sense in the world for that to happen. But this is listen, I would prefer not to have this SEC game right now. Iowa State's at a pretty good spot. But you're kind of playing with house money. Here's the good thing about this is that this is a quad one win if Iowa State gets it. This isn't some situation where it's a bad team you're playing. This game actually means something. And if you lose it, it's not the end of the world because it's not going to hurt your resume at all. Iowa State won't even budge if they lose this game against the Missouri Tigers. So let's get after it. I'll pick Iowa State to win it. I think they're better. I like a game here in the mid-70s. I'll pick Iowa State to win this one. The turnaround and going to Lubbock will be tough, but they've got to do it too. Texas Tech has LSU, so it's like, not a very good team in that one. And Tech's 0-8 in the Big 12 right now. They've got a gauntlet coming up this week with Iowa State and Baylor. So, yeah, I love this time of year. Isn't this fun? I love it. I'm so glad that we get to do this together. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks to the Iowa Event Center for sponsoring. Shout out to our Cyclone Fanatic store. I like this one a lot. My favorite is the beard on TJ's. Gave him a 0. Appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend. Be safe.